Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Thousands of people gathered at St. Peter's Square to welcome the new Pope, the election of Cardinal Robert Prevost as leader of the Roman Catholic Church came as a surprise, but many are optimistic in the kind of leadership he will bring. World leaders also hope the first American or U.S. pontiff, now known as Pope Leo XIV, will help attain genuine peace for all. Let's get on point with Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP spokesperson, Father Jerome Siciliano. Father Jerome, so good to see you again in person. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras on such a joyous occasion.
Thank you, Pinky, for having me here.
All right. First of all, what were your, I want to find out, ano yung naging pakiramdam nyo po nung nakita nyo yung white smoke, nung nag-announce po na meron na tayong Santo Papa at nang lumabas si, Pope Leo XIV?
Well, number one, it was an exciting moment because, there were so many people telling us that, it's going to be a Filipino Pope. And then, of course, the anticipation was there. And at the same time, parang alam mo yung tipong nininervyos ka eh. Talagang Pilipino nga ba? So I was really looking at the screens while waiting for the announcement. But then, nung nagsalita na, yung proto-deacon, hindi ko nga nag-gets masyado yung pangalan niya eh.
You know,
diba?
You and a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, ang naintindihan ko lang yung Leo XIV. And then it was only the commentators who mentioned that he's an American cardinal, tapos eto na. So sabi ko, well, for the first time, there is an American cardinal who became a pope. And I think yung pumasok agad sa isip ko, maybe it's a welcome development for the church.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Well, number one, for the longest time, I think the cardinal electors were not so keen in looking at the resources available from the U.S. But there were so many bright people there. I can mention, for example, Cardinal Francis George, but he died already. He was the Archbishop before of Chicago. He was a very brilliant guy. But of course, it's not only about brilliance. It's all about also the ability to communicate, to connect with people. Kaya sabi ko, it's a welcome development in a sense that superpower yung pinanggalingan nito eh. Tapos nung tumayo na doon sa balcony, kita mo kagad yung confidence niya. And I recall during the time when Pope Francis appeared in the balcony, medyo parang nahihiya pa eh. But this guy, ito si Pope Leo XIV, kita mo yung confidence ando doon, the way he was waving to the people, and the way he also addressed the people, sabi ko, mukhang alam nito gagawin niya.
Yung tono pa lang ng boses niya when he addressed the people, malakas. Di ba?
Correct.
Doon medyo nagulat din ako. And it seemed he was quite confident. There was also a part that I was seeing a lot on social media na habang kumakaway po siya, meron ho kasing, I don't know if you saw it, Father Jerome's side view, no? Na they zoomed into it.
Teary-eyed.
Oo, teary-eyed siya. Nakita ko yun. Yeah. So kasi hindi mo makita sa harap.
Yeah.
Tapos kumakaway lang siya, nakaganon siya the whole time, no? I mean, how is it to even feel that, right? Ilan lang naman sila talagang nakakadungaw mula dyan sa balkonaheng yan. So it's a welcome development.
Yeah.
What does that say about a pope coming from the United States in terms of, peace to each and every one of you, doon sa kanyang message?
Okay. I think we start with the idea that this Pope has a tremendous background, especially coming from Latin America. And of course, his immersion with the people, coming from a poor country. And then of course, yung naman niya, pinanggalingan niya, Amerikano talaga. Di ba? So ibig sabihin nito, doon yung kanyang balance na pagtingin sa mundo. Kasi nung pinanganak siya, Amerikano to, kumbaga, ito, prosperous na bansa ito. And then all of a sudden, he was assigned there. So kita niya yung contrast. So doon pa lang, sabi ko, palagay ko, ang gagawin nito parang marunong mag-balance eh. The narrative is always about, are we going to have a very liberal pope? Are we going to have a, conservative pope? Eh, Tito, nakita ko parang moderate ito eh.
So yun pa lang, doon pa lang sa kanyang background,
Background.
nakita mo na yung balance of
Yes.
progressive and possibly
Yes.
conservative or traditional pope.
Yes.
That was already evident there.
Correct.
All right. And what else?
And then another thing is yung extensive academic background niya. You know, when I was following the pre-conclave general congregations, so there was a mention there of the cardinals talking about canon law. Di ba? So ang tingin nila dito yung canon law, the church law, we're talking about the church law. Sabi ko, nung nag-aaral kami, parang ang canon law, napag-iiwanan ng theology, philosophy. I think a lot of bishops were actually sending their seminarians to specialize in theology, philosophy. I am a canon lawyer myself, I studied in USD. Pero kami noon, parang karamihan ng kaklase ko, mga pari na.
Yeah.
Pero yung mga seminarista, ando doon sila, Philo, Teo. And then all of a sudden, nakita ko doon sa pre-conclave, general congregation, sabi ko, they're talking about canon law. So meaning to say,
Bakit? Bakit kaya?
tinitingnan nila ngayon kung ano yung sinasabi ng church laws about synodality, about the direction of the church, about how they are going to, respond to this, problems or crisis maybe that the church is facing right now. And I'm talking about, for example, isa sa mga crisis nito, Pinky, ay sexual misconduct, financial transparency, yung mga bagay na ganyan.
Pero yun naman ang inabutan ni Pope Francis.
Correct.
Eh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, ang ibig sabihin nito, parang kinakailangan na tumingin sila doon sa batas para kahit papano, mas lapat na lapat. Kasi alam mo, kapag halimbawa puro ka pastoral approach, na wala kang batas, hindi balanse yun. Kasi pag sinabi mong pastoral approach, ando doon lagi yung naaawa ka, pagbigyan natin to, di ba? Parang accommodation yan,
Forgive.
embrace mo, forgive mo yan, parang ganun eh. Pero kapag may batas, objective yun, di ba? May ginawa kang
May
ganito,
anchor.
may anchor ka. So, doon ako ngayon parang sabi, wow, they're talking about canon law all of a
And
sudden.
you were saying that Pope Leo XIV, I missed that part because na-engross po ako dun sa sabi niyo ng canon law. You mentioned something about him and canon law.
He has a doctorate in canon law.
Doctorate, he does.
At the Angelicum University, run by the Dominicans.
I see.
Yeah, in Rome. Yeah.
Oh, so ayan na naman yung tinatawag mong balance, Father Jerome.
Yeah, so nakita ko dito, canon law ka, may batas ka. So hindi lang dito yung tipong puro ka, yun nga, sabi ko, awa, di ba, pastoral concern. May batas eh. So let the law takes its course, di ba? Parang ganun. Yung ganun ang feeling ko, yun ang ganun nakita ko doon.
We've also said oftentimes that the Pope has actually visited the Philippines a number of times when he was here sometime in the years 2004, I believe, and 2010. We'll show you pictures of that,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about it also. We got that from the CBCP Facebook account of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines. That's one of them. We're going to talk about that. Batang-bata pa siya dyan,
Yeah.
ha? Father Jerome. When we come back, we'll take a very short break with CBCP spokesperson, Father Jerome Siciliano. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. You're watching On Point, still with us, CBCP spokesperson, Father Jerome Siciliano. Let's look at past pictures of Cardinal Prevost. Siyempre, hindi pa siya cardinal nung mga panahon na to, no? Wala pa. So, this is, I think, 2008. He celebrated Mass. This is coming from the CBCP Facebook page. Celebrated Mass to inaugurate the Agustinian Community House in Manila.
Yeah.
Opo. Have you been there? Tell us more about it.
Well, 2008, I was only 6 years in my ministry. But I wasn't there when he came for a visit. You know, kasi siya yung superior nila eh. Sa buong, sa buong mundo ng mga Augustinians.
Yeah.
Usually, kapag mga ganyan napupunta ng Archdiocese of Manila o kaya ano pa mang diocese, it's the bishop of the place or the diocese who's going to meet him. Lalong-lalo na, i-coordinate yan.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I wasn't privy, much about what he really did. Pero aside from the fact na nagmass and met also with the Augustinian friars. So,
Yeah. Okay. Actually, let me repeat that question. I wanted to know, have you been to that house?
That house?
Agustinian, yeah.
that's in Intramuros, right?
Opo, in Manila,
Okay.
yeah. So, 2010 naman po ay he came back. This is for the Congregation Intermediate Chapter. I guess this is what you're saying. He presided over a Mass. Ito naman po yung San Agustin Church.
Church.
And siguro it's good to also to know, Father Jerome, tell us more about the Augustinian order.
Well, the Augustinian orders, sila yung isa sa mga oldest na order na meron tayo.
Hindi ba oldest?
Meron kasing, I think sila yung oldest, ano? Pero, if I'm going to look back, parang meron pang Dominicans eh. Meron pang Franciscans. So, yung alam si St. Augustine, of course, kung saan nila kinuha yung charism, well, was way ahead of these saints that I was mentioning, na siya naging founder nitong Dominicans, itong Franciscans.
I see.
But then again, ang point natin dito is, the Augustinians were, known to be missionaries also. And at the same time, yung kanyang kanilang philosophy and theology, anchored on their father, St. Augustine of Hippo. It's all about he was always talking about grace. Grace, o biyaya, gracia. Kaya yung pagpapatawad, ando doon. So yun ang kanyang central theme. Palagay ko itong mga Augustinians, ganun din. Okay, the way they minister to the people, okay, always believing that there's the grace of God moving us, sustaining us, inspiring us. Ang ganda, di ba? Kasi masyadong spiritual. So hindi masyadong reliant doon. Ang galing ko eh. Di ba? Ang tibay ko eh. Matalino ako eh. So kapag nare-remind ka ng ganun,
Dahil sa Diyos yun.
Kaya yung sinabi din niya, di ba? Na dapat ang Diyos sinadala natin sa tao.
So he's been here, at least those were two instances. And I know that he also went to Cebu, but I don't know if these were the same dates of 2008 and 2010. Let's try to get to know him better. We're going to show an art card of the Pope. Let me just pull that up here. Okay, we're going to show that also on screen. So he was born September 14, 1955. This was in Chicago, Illinois. 1981 po yung naging member siya of the Order of St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Yan po. Tapos June 9, ordained priest in 1982. 1985 to 1986 sa Peru, Chulucanas. 88 to 98, ito 10 taon to. Trujillo, Peru, still. And then 1999 to 2001, provincial of the Augustinian province in Chicago.
Bumalik siya ng,
Bumalik
ng
siya.
US, yeah.
And then 2001 to 2013, prior general of the Order of St. Augustine, 2 terms. And then 2014 to 2015, apostolic administrator of the Diocese of, balik na naman siya sa Peru, Chiclayo, Peru. And then same, ito tuloy-tuloy na to, 2015 to 2023, bishop na siya ng Chiclayo, Peru. And then 23 to 25, prefect of the, yun yung pinag-usapan namin kanina, the Dicastery for Bishops, President of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America. Just looking at his background, Father Jerome, what can you say?
Well,
Yung kanya mga pinagdaanan.
number one, I think he was trusted by his brothers in the Augustinian order. Kasi hindi lang siya naging prior provincial, kundi naging head talaga ng buong Augustinian for 2 terms.
Yeah.
So, kapag halimbawa naka 2 terms ka, nasagad mo yung talagang years na dapat na mamumuno ka, it speaks a lot about the relationship that they had, maybe the way he chartered the course of the Augustinians. So 12 years yun, Pinky.
Yeah.
Ang tagal nun.
Ganun ho ba yun? Hanggang 2 terms ka lang?
Depende naman kasi yan sa mga sa mga ginagawa nilang constitution. So bawat naman,
Bawat
bawat
order could be
order naman
different.
may
I see.
depende.
Pero 2 terms is a lot because it's a lot of
Yes,
years. Yeah.
yeah.
So he must have been well trusted. Okay. And then I wanted to also find out from you, was he a surprise for you, or was he someone that you had considered personally?
When I was in Hawaii, I was looking at the different the different cardinals. And when this guy popped up, nakita ko yung kanyang extensive na record eh. Hindi lang ito na binanggit mo. Sabi ko, this guy is parang pwede eh. Of course, I wasn't really entertaining the thought that during conclave, tataas yung kanyang yung value.
Pero bakit mo siya naisip when you were in Hawaii? Did he come up because of an article?
No, sa YouTube lang, nakikita ko yung mga, di ba, lumalabas kasi dito yung mga, alam mo naman ng media, no?
Yeah.
Kung sino yung mga tao na pwede, parang pinupush-push nila. So, when I looked at him, sabi ko, very extensive yung kanyang yung record niya eh. Sabi ko, pwede to. Yung nga lang, I didn't give it much thought. Kasi ang dami-daming mga ano eh, dami-daming mga talagang papabili na tinatawag. And then nung ando doon na siya, sabi na nga ba pwede to eh. Ganun lang.
Yeah.
Pero hindi talaga siya yung choice ko. If I am going to
You
ano.
weren't really seriously
Yes,
considering
correct.
him, I guess. All right, we're going to take another short break. We'll talk about what to expect from our new Pope with CBCP spokesperson, Father Jerome Siciliano. Stay tuned. This is On Point. We're on our final stretch with CBCP spokesperson Father Jerome Siciliano. Siguro magandang malaman, Father Jerome, what to expect from Pope Leo XIV. Isipin mo, 14th, ha?
Yeah.
Oo.
Well, number one, I don't think he's going to just undermine the reforms that Pope Francis had done for the Catholic Church. Palagay ko, yun din ang parang magiging karugtong yung gagawin niya. And then pangalawa, by choosing the name Leo, very historic yung pangalan na yan eh. Very pang 14 na siya, no? Yung Leo XIII, he was actually the father of social doctrines. Kasi yung kanyang mga encyclicals, especially yung Rerum Novarum, it talks about social justice, the rights of workers, di ba? Tapos ito, human dignity, and then he lambasted capitalism. The rich become richer, the poor become poorer. Di ba? Yun ang mga niya, yun ang mga ginawa niya ni Pope Leo XIII. Tapos yung kanyang, yung kanyang engagement, social transformation, very pronounced yun. And I guess, yun ang magiging, kumbaga, thrust ng papacy nito. Hindi naman ako nangunguna, di ba? Pero yun lang ang basis natin.
But it's a likely,
Yun ang
direction
basis
to
natin.
take.
Yun ang direction,
Because
di ba?
why would you take the name Leo XIV
correct.
also?
So yung social transformation, engagement with the world, I think that is very important and very crucial. Ang daming wars, oppressive policies, di ba? Ang dami sa Amerika lang immigration policies. Tinutuligsa nila yan eh. Tinutuligsa ni Pope Francis. So I think the church needs to assert her voice in all of these things that are happening. And so therefore, we will see a very firm papacy, I think, especially in taking up the cudgels for the poor. Si Pope Leo, ganun din ang kanyang ang kanyang focus nun eh. Kaya mga manggagawa, mga mahihirap,
Poor and the
karapatan ninyo.
workers.
Yeah. And then, yung kay Pope Leo XIII, yung papaano niya kinonfront yung modernity. Alam mo, gumawa din siya ng encyclical ng Eterni Patris, ang pamagat nito.
Which means?
Eternal Father. Ang ibig sabihin lang naman nito na layunin ay ibalik natin yung Christian philosophy. Di ba? Kasi modernity, parang secular na yun eh. Iba na pananaw, tanggalin natin yung Diyos dito, tanggalin natin yung religion. Kaya ibalik yung ganong uri ng pananaw. Okay, so kung ganito, Pope Leo XIV, secular na masyado mundo, Pinky. Di ba? Ibalik natin ang Diyos sa larangan ng mundo.
So good to hear,
Yeah.
Father. Maybe before we go, also wanted to get your thoughts on, of course, hindi naman natin makakalimutan si Cardinal Tagle, hindi ba?
We
Tas
love
sabi
him.
nga nila, yung isang dark horse supposed to be si Cardinal David. Paano natin tatanggapin siguro yung ating confidence or optimism na lang that many of us were hoping and praying that it would be Cardinal Tagle. And of course, quite disappointed, but still happy, di ba? Ganun naman yun. Kasi it is really the Holy Spirit talking to the cardinals, whispering in their ears. Ika nga.
I think number one there is, we have to relish the thought that we have a cardinal who is brilliant, was considered for the papacy. Yun lang, malaking bagay yun. Then pangalawa,
We should be proud, no?
we should be proud.
Yeah.
And of course, not yet his time, perhaps.
Yeah.
Not yet his time. Ganun naman sa buhay. There is always a time for everything. Darating at darating siguro, hindi natin alam, daming opportunities. But that is not the end for him. And I do believe that there are so many things that Cardinal Tagle, and all the cardinals that we have, can contribute to the Catholic Church.
I
am
think
very
it's
confident
beautiful
of
you said that we should cherish the fact that he was even a front runner. That speaks volumes, di ba? And remember, ang sabi nila, when you come in as a pope, you come out as a cardinal.
When you ano, when you enter the conclave of Pope, you
You come
exit at a
out
cardinal.
as a cardinal. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
times to, these are exciting times as well. But maybe as a last question, what are maybe the top 3 concerns you think that the new Pope should address immediately?
Well, I'm going to be very consistent about it. Reforms. Reform of the church from the inside. And I'm talking sexual misconduct, financial transparency. For me, that's very crucial. Because, if the people is going to look at the church that is reforming herself, alam mo makukuha mo tiwala ng tao eh. And then I think nung nakita ko yung ito si Pope Leo XIV, and then taking on the name of this Leo XIV, sabi ko, mukhang tutuloy-tuloy. Pangalawa, palagay ko dito yung confrontation sa mundo. The church is in the world. So but the church also has to say something about what's really happening. Kaya yung moral voice. Pangatlo, palagay ko yung synodality very important. Kasi yung synodality is all about listening to people.
Yeah.
The church is no longer about the hierarchy. The church is the people of God. And the lay people comprise the majority of these people of God, the baptized. And so I think hearing and listening from the people, that's very important. And not only to listen, but I think to consider doing what the lay people has been telling us. Yeah. Yung tatlo na yun.
It's time for that.
Yeah.
Father Jerome Ceciliano, pleasure to have you. Maraming salamat for sharing your insights. And again, it's so good to see you again in person. Thank you. And that's On Point. Join us again next week at 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.